Alright, we're live.
Alright.
Which means share time.
Hopefully it works. Knock down wood, right?
Well, we're working so far.
Mm-hmm. Until you go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode...
Why does it keep doing that? Alright, now it's working. That's quite weird.
What's that?
Like, if I go to mainstream,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna watch on the video, it
Is delayed?
No, it has what I edited in there, like our new format.
Okay.
But it just doesn't look right. I wonder if I drop myself down a smidge and drop you down a smidge. I'm about to keep dropping a little bit. All about getting it right.
That's right.
I think we're good with that. I think that's what we're gonna roll with. Oh. Putting on Twitter, we're live, trying it again. We're live once again. Gonna see if it works this time.
Yeah, Adam may know what the problem is.
Nah, no. Messenger. Kate Spade found dead in her New York home.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're a designer, man. Like, that's... You got a pretty good life, but I guess, you know, money doesn't give you happiness. People saw their demons.
That's right.
Sure. Would like to be allowed to design my own bed.
Not so fast. The eternal will have to have your disciplinary hearing with that.
Oh, we are saving the world?
As a new recruit, you've been let off with a warning. For his punishment,
Punishment?
I still hear
3 more years have been added to your term.
3 years.
You've been let off with a warning.
What's that?
So I can still hear your TV.
Hey, can you turn it down a wee bit, honey? Thank you. Is that left Tyler?
No.
We are 4 minutes away. 4 minutes. Reconnecting. Good, we're back on. Tony goes, hopefully no tech issues this week. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I saw that.
No freaking kidding. We should be good, though. I think we'll be alright.
Yeah, we'll find out here in 2 minutes. Because I restarted the computer last week. Everything we could think of, so.
Yeah, we did everything to set it up right this time. As I see you put fingers crossed in there.
Yes, I did. What's my name? Francis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Loose Lugs Podcast. My name is AJ. I'm your host.
Oh, keep going, go. Oh, man, it's going good, too.
What's that?
Well, you just did it. You just started it, and it went good.
No, I know. I'm trying to see if it would have stopped as soon as I said, welcome to the Loose Lugs Podcast.
I mean, your camera's a little blurry, but that's fine as long as I can hear you and we don't get to Jonathan Davis.
It's only bad on your end because you're seeing my webcam off my laptop. I have an external camera that I use for the show.
Yeah. Oh, do you? All right.
Yeah. Take a drink of water real quick.
Yeah, good idea. Oh, I did it for content, boo.
Take one more hit off of my... Oh, boy. Fuck. Polish.
What do you do now?
Every time I send him the link, he sends me some Polish-esque message.
Like, who cares? And
Yeah.
I think it's about that time.
7:30, let's get it.
Let's go.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 29 of the Loose Lugs Podcast. I'm your host, AJ. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan.
What? And AJ, long time no see on the podcast. Hope everybody had a good weekend, Memorial Day weekend last weekend. let's get into this. Let's do this. It's going to be a good episode tonight.
Yeah, we got a 2-in-1 episode this week because of the technical difficulties we had to go through last week. Where we tried that a bunch of times.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I noticed too, it's always when you're in bedroom or wherever it is in your house, that part of the house does not like the Loose Lugs podcast. Obviously, you got all the cars in the background there, so let's have it a good weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little choppy from your end. On my end, like the very last word you say, like the last part of a word you say, it's a little bit choppy on my end, but it's definitely nowhere near how bad it was last week.
Man, if anybody ever heard of Freak on a Leash by Korn, that's what it sounded like on my end last week.
And Tony throws in their hashtag AOL Internet towards you there.
I don't have AOL Internet. I have WoW Internet.
Wow, how terrible.
We have. It's better than Spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that Spectrum is bad.
Yes.
But, I mean, you even went on a full-fledged rant.
Yeah. I went in on how bad, like, the internet was and how bad our connection was last week. I started talking about the dirt track racing we went to Memorial Day weekend, which was, again, another awesome time at the dirt track. Man, if there's any dirt track fans out there, man, go support your local dirt track racers and the short track racers as well. Go enjoy it, have some fun.
More short tracks.
Yes, more short tracks, more dirt tracks.
That's for sure. So, I mean, we have a jam-packed episode this week. We're going to get into the double Xfinity races, double Cup races. We're going to get into a little bit of the Indy and F1 races from last weekend and how it related to the Cup race that weekend. We also have a couple playoff series going on, Ryan, in other sports, in basketball
yes, we do.
And hockey. We got the Warriors and the Cavs, Warriors being up 2-0.
Yep.
And the Capitals up 3-1 on Vegas. Do either two teams down in these series come back?
No and no.
I think Obi's getting a cup and Curry's getting Finals MVP.
Yep. The Cleveland had their game to win to try to make it a decent series, but then J.R. Smith, where's the music?
Someone needs to give him a map because I don't think he has any idea where he is at any given time on a basketball court.
No, I don't think he does either. And then he's jacking up these stupid fadeaway threes. I'm like, really?
And then James Neal for Las Vegas needs a map to find out where the net is because obviously he can't hit that.
He hit the post last night and he called. If he would have scored last night, they would have won last night. And no, Washington has played great this entire playoffs. And now at the Stanley Cup, they're clicking. It's a great story. So is the Vegas story. It's been a really good series. I don't want it to end in 5 games. I'd like to see it Washington win it at home. See the party.
Oh, dude, it's going to be Ovechkin winning a cup is like everything right now. Like that's,
of course.
That's what everyone wants to see, I think. I mean, not everyone. People want to see an expansion team win the Stanley Cup for the first time. I'm sorry. Vegas is going to be around for years to come. A superstar like Ovechkin is once every 10 years type of guy, or one every 20 years. That is just such a consistent goal scorer, a pure goal scorer. I mean, he can play both sides of the puck, though. It's not like he can only play offense. He can also come back on defense and help out. He's not afraid to lay the body.
Yeah, exactly. And it's what Tony said last night. Like you said, Vegas is going to be around. Tony said it last night while we're in our OTP cheeseburger franchise now. So, that Vegas is going to have all this cap. Nice. That, that he's got, Vegas has got the cap space next year to go out and sign some free agents. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do next year and interesting to do what they do this year.
And then I think we're in agreement that Cleveland is screwed.
Yeah, unfortunately. LeBron's probably going to get him a game, so.
Yeah, they might steal one, or well, it feels weird to say they're going to steal one at home. I think.
Oh yeah, I do too. But then I think Golden State would just come back. So
Yeah, I think this series is over in 5 at most.
yep. Yeah, we'll wait and see.
So Ryan, last weekend was a long weekend for most of us. It was a fun one on my end. Did a lot of moving around, going to different places. Saw the new Deadpool movie, which is a must-see.
Yeah, we definitely got to see that here soon, hopefully.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but like I said, definitely a must-see. And then this last weekend was fairly quiet, besides the racing going on. But your weekend coming up, why don't you tell everyone what you're doing this weekend?
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the show, we always say we'll see you at the track. Well, guess what, boys and girls? That's right. This guy will be at Michigan International Speedway for the Firekeepers Casino 400 with the fiance, soon-to-be wife. We're going to be out there enjoying the racing, getting out there early. She just told me she got me an early wedding present, not telling me what it is. So I guess I have to wait till Sunday to see what it is. But yeah, we're going to head on out there, have some fun. Got great seats too, right by the start-finish line, right across from Victory Lane. So if anybody's going out to MIS that listens to the show, hopefully we'll catch you guys out there this weekend. Weather keeping up really nice so far. I think the last we saw was 77 and partly cloudy.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about 77.
I'll tell you what the weather is here right now. Oh, it's 87.
80. Oh, well, right now it's like almost 60 here, I think.
I hate you.
Yeah, it's pretty nice here. So, but yeah, like I said, man, we'll be out there. Hopefully, see a good race. Hopefully, see one of our drivers get the W. Unfortunately, don't want to see a Toyota in Victory Lane. And then
Ryan,
Thursday.
Hey, Ryan, real quick. Tony says that you charge autographs for beer.
I could do that. The Thursday, Jack Roush store in Livonia is having an autograph signing with Matt Kenseth's going to be out there. Jack Roush, Ryan Reed, and Austin Cindric are going to be out there. AJ, let the folks at home know what you're sending my way.
I sent Ryan last year's Matt Kenseth Tide Pods car because out of all the paint schemes that Kenseth has driven through the years, I've always thought like his Tide paint schemes, the two that he's ran, have been the coolest looking ones he's ever driven.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd send that, see if I can get an autograph on it. Should be getting to you tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, hopefully it will be. And then, like I said, let me know when it gets here, and I will let you know when I have it in hand. So, and get that signed, and then I got my Pure Michigan 400 flag upstairs. It's going to get signed as well. So it's going to be going to be a pretty busy weekend. So looking
Ryan
forward to it.
Literally see you at the track.
Yes, I will literally see you at the track. And guess what? It finally worked. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, I know. We've gotten through probably 10 minutes so far.
Man, so far so good. But yeah, like I said, hopefully this weekend's race has been better than the last two. So I'm not saying they were boring races, but we're going to dive into that. But just to be there, to hear them fire the engines, to fly over, oh man, getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Well, Ryan, let's carry this excitement on over to a jam-packed gas and go this week.
All right.
Let's get into it.
All right.
For those that are always tuning in every week to the show, you already know what Gas and Go is, but for those that don't know, this is where we recap the race weekend. We're recapping 2 race weekends, both for Xfinity and Cup. We're going to start off with the 2 Xfinity races first, and then we'll move on to the 2 Cup races. But starting off with the Xfinity Series at Charlotte 2 weeks ago now. Well, 1 week ago. 1 week ago. Going on 2 weeks.
1.5. Yeah, about that.
So Brad Keselowski, who was your winner, survived a late surge by Cole Custer. Another Cup guy winning. No shock at all there when Cup guys run the Xfinity Series. Now, the shocking story, Ryan, to me, was Kyle Busch winning stages 1 and 2 and then wrecking.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he did that. He had a late restart that he tried to go down low and got caught up in it and wrecked. And then we were up at the soon-to-be in-laws house. We were up there watching it, and Sarah's dad's like, who's winning? Kyle. Oh, I'm going to take a nap. 5 minutes after he goes to lay down and take a nap, that's when Kyle crashes.
Yeah, how ironic, right? I mean, should have stayed up for that one.
He should have. I think he'd have been cheering too. I know we were.
It was a bad day for JRM.
Yeah, they didn't have a good running that weekend. So
Tyler Reddick alone was in 2 separate incidents. Justin Allgaier was in one with Jamie McMurray, and I've got to say, that one car, not the one car, that was the 42 in the Xfinity, but Jamie McMurray, he's been like nothing but a curse for that T1 he's driven in those cars.
Yeah, I just don't get why they don't keep John Hunter Nemechek in the car.
I mean, you need... I know you like to get like guys like Larson in there, and Jamie McMurray in there
for sponsors and.
But when you got a guy like John Hunter Nemechek who finished, I think, 6th this past weekend,
at Pocono,
why don't you just keep him in the car?
Why not? The kid's got talent. We all know that.
You have points in a trophy. You ain't gonna get a championship trophy for Cup guys winning in your rides. I just think it'd be a smarter move.
Yep, something I've never understood why. I mean, like we just said, I mean, sponsorships, drivers bringing bigger sponsors, what it all boils down to. But, yeah, I think John Hunter needs to be in that car.
Yeah, I agree with you, for sure. Continuing on, Kaz Grala, and this was his first race with Fury Race Cars, and they a huge part of that team is Tony Uri Jr. Most Junior fans know who that is. He finished 10th in his first race with a brand new team that's never ran in the Xfinity Series. Finished 10th.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good for him, man. Good for him. And the fact that he's showing with one of the lower budget teams in the sport that he can compete with Cup guys and top Xfinity rides, hell, man, that's a guy I'm going to get behind.
Oh, Kaz Grala, of course. Especially when he won last year's Daytona race, the truck race at Daytona after Crafton landed on solder on the backstretch, and he moseyed on through there and got the checker flag. So,
I tell you what, yeah, the kid can wheel.
Yes, he can. He's definitely got the driving skills.
He's got the spunk.
Yes, he does. Or as they like to call it.
He does. He has it. And we're going to talk about what he did this past weekend, which his finish might not have shown it, but he was in the mix there for a little bit. And not the mix for the win, but a mix for a top 5. But we'll get into that here in a little bit. Your stage winners, first stage Kyle Busch, second stage Kyle Busch, like we already said. Your eventual race winner was Brad Keselowski. Your top 5, Brad Keselowski, Colt Custer, Christopher Bell. I can't remember if it was Ty Dillon or Austin Dillon. I just wrote Dillon down, so it was one of the Dillon brothers. I think it was Ty.
One of the Dillons.
I do believe it was Ty Dillon. And then Elliott Sadler. Your notable finishers, 6th place Ryan Truex, 9th place Matt Tiff, and 11th place Chase Briscoe. Your well, I don't even need to go over your standings because we're going to go over that on this race.
Yeah, about Pocono.
So let's get on to the Pocono side of things, Ryan.
Pocono. Tricky triangle.
If I can pull the page out. A little bit of technical difficulties.
I don't know if you have it in the notes about what happened to the Kyle Busch car after the race.
Yeah, I've got that in here. So
okay, you do that. Yeah, we'll get into that. So
Ryan kind of spoiled it for you if you've been living under a rock. Kyle Busch has won the Pocono race, Xfinity race, and then post-race inspection, he was too high on his ride height in post-inspection. I do believe it was the ride height. I didn't check for sure. I thought it was the ride height.
I think it was the ride height. Yeah, it was the ride height.
Like and the then was too high or something like that.
The crew chief is suspended this weekend's race out at MIS.
And what does it matter?
Nothing.
This is this goes to the point, like, I know Xfinity drivers will be the first to tell you, you know, they want the experience against established drivers every weekend. They don't mind it. But you know what? These penalties don't mean nothing. You can cheat up these race cars and it not mean a damn thing.
No, exactly.
You know, it's just another trophy in their trophy case that they're taking away from a younger guy or a younger team. And they're taking away points, playoff points. It's just
especially playoff points. Especially playoff points when it comes down to that. Say for example, in the Xfinity Series, it's down to, let's go, Christopher Bell, Reddick, Sadler, Allgaier. And, for example, Kyle Busch wins the race and wins, getting these stage points that cost, say, the Danielle Hemrick, we'll say, would be in fifth spot by 1 point because Kyle Busch is out there and all these other Cup guys are out there getting these stage wins. When maybe a guy like Hemrick, you know, Sadler, all these other guys can get these stage wins. That's what it's going to do right there. That's why I'm glad there was that time this year where they had no guys in it. Those were some of the best Xfinity races.
You know, Ryan, it's funny because it seems like the races without Cup drivers for the Xfinity Series draws a better rating every Saturday as opposed to other races with Cup guys. I think it's just a better product. You're getting a better race out of it. I mean, look at the Truck Series. Sometimes you get 1 or 2 Cup guys in it, but it's never really any more than that. And
exactly.
9 times out of 10, Johnny Sauter's waxing the field this year.
Oh, but having a great truck.
So, by the way, Truck Series are back in action this weekend.
Texas, Friday at 9:30.
Yeah, Friday. At 9:30, nonetheless.
Well, Texas is an hour time difference.
I know, but it's like the.
I think it's 8:30 or 9:30, one of the two.
I thought it was 9 o'clock, but it might be 9:30. I know it's after 8. They're racing this weekend somewhere past 8:30, so it's got to be 9:30 then.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
No, something. It may be 8:30. It may be 9:30. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure.
So, just moving on, Ryan. Cole Custer, back-to-back solid runs. Early on in the race, he seemed like he had a pretty good car. Definitely best of what I thought was of the Xfinity regulars. I thought Custer had the best car. His finish at the end didn't show it, but I thought he was the better one of all the Xfinity regulars that were in the race this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We had Christopher Bell and Justin Allgaier crash late. I think it was like lap 165 when they crashed, and it was a product. And for those that didn't know, the Xfinity Series used somewhat the same thing they used at Indy last year with a few minor tweaks. So these cars would get really bunched up off of restarts, and it was just the product of bump drafting that caused Bell and Allgaier to wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And for Allgaier, it's been a rough couple weeks.
It has, especially after the Dover win got taken away. They haven't fully recovered from it, so
here's the story, Ryan, with Kaz Grala that I thought was great. So he might have finished 16th, but there was at one point in that race where he was as high as 7th. So, for those that have said, or those who think that Kaz getting out of that ride that he was in, you know, he wasn't that great of a driver or whatever, wasn't getting the finishes. Look what he's doing now in better equipment, but spending less money, I think. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know the expenses and the finances of it. But he's putting together solid runs in a team that he has no chemistry with.
No, not at all. And look at what he's doing. Like you said, he was as high as 7th.
Right.
The kid can wheel a race car.
When he was with his old race team, Ryan, do you think he would have ever seen 7th?
No.
So, he's still the only driver from his former race team that has finished in the top 10 this season.
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes to show, man, that kid, he has it.
That he does. Can't wait to. I'm looking forward to a bigger and brighter future for him.
For sure. Now, Ryan, this was just a... I'm going to say it just because I don't have a better term to use for this. It was a boring race.
I thought this weekend as in a whole was... I mean...
I don't don't know. You got to think Cup drivers being in it play a part in it. I don't like
Of
sounding
course.
like a broken record on it. But they brought in the rules package they use at Indy with the minor tweaks. Hell, I thought you should have brought that same package back. Don't tweak it at all. That was fine.
No, not. Yeah, the package they ran at Indy was. I thought that was out of the 2 races at Indy that year. Last year, the Xfinity was the better race.
I think there were only 5 or 6 drivers who finished not on the lead lap this weekend in Xfinity.
Mm-hmm.
So
Insane.
The product is good. I think it's just when you add these guys like Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Jamie McMurray, Paul Menard to the mix, they're in the best equipment out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting a hurting on the field, and it's like everybody else looks so far less competitive.
That they do.
And it just leads for a boring race. And I know old school fans are going to say, well, this is how racing used to be and all that, but I get that. But we've had some great finishes in the Xfinity Series and Cup Series over the last couple years where they weren't so spread out at the finish and all that, that it drew fans back. Times have changed.
Yes. Yes, it does. And yes, they are.
Less asses in seats equals no bueno.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we have to go away from the old school style of things to put more rear ends in seats at racetracks and get more people tuning in every Saturday, Sunday, and Friday, you got to do what you have to do to make revenue off it.
That you do.
So if you don't want to watch after that, fine, don't watch. All you're doing is whining every weekend anyway, so what's the point?
Exactly.
So excuse my rambling on that one.
Right. Well, the good thing you work is, unfortunately, Saturday I woke up a little late. Care to mention on the podcast. I had an angry fiance that day because we were supposed to do yard work, and instead she cut we had a lot of bushes and shrubs along the fence line. She got those cut. I woke up. I'm like, oh, wow, that looks great. And then cut the grass. And then by the time I got in, the race was over.
Well, I mean, I missed all but the final stage of the Xfinity race.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even know what was going on there for a little bit just because I was out doing some running around I had to do.
Exactly.
But it's sad that before the race even starts, I can kind of pinpoint a driver and say, oh, yeah, he's going to win. It's not even going to be close. And sure enough, the driver I would have picked here would have been Kyle Busch. And
exactly.
He wins the race. Even Paul Menard was up there for a couple laps, but I mean...
Chase was up there at the end.
He was up there at the end, but I don't think he ever got the lead in it.
No, he never got the lead, but he was up there at the end.
And there's also a new driver this weekend.
Yeah, can't remember.
Patrick just brings up a great point here. Xfinity drivers don't learn by getting beat every week by Cup drivers every week. It's so...
it is very true.
If you ain't doing paddles for the lead because your car can't compete with them or they have 10 times more experience than you do, then what's the point? You got to understand how to handle these cars because these are the closest things to Cup cars we have every weekend.
And I think with the limited times the Cup drivers can run in here is going to make for better racing down the road, like the Dash for Cash races. They need to do more Dash for Cash races during the regular season to keep the Cup drivers out, and then again for the playoffs.
I would go even further with the restrictions they have on this. Cup drivers, 3. If you've been in the Cup Series for more than 5 years, you get 3 races. That's it. If you're a regular, you get 3 races.
I'd like to see 3 races.
If you've been in it for 3 years, only 3 years or less, you get 5 races. And that's how it should be. No Dash for Cash races, no playoff races. That's how you set it up. I don't know what the rule is now. I thought it was 6. I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 or 7. I thought.
Later down, I'm going to fact check this, and I'm going to be correct on what I said is the rule, and I'm going to look like an idiot.
3 to 4, if you ask me, I think they should run.
I agree, man. I don't know why they do it the way they do it, personally. So your top 5, as we're getting away from their little rant I just went on.
Hey, it's all right.
You had Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Daniel Hemrick, Austin Cindric, and Cole Custer rounding out your top 5. Cole Custer finished 5th, by the way, not 10th. I don't know where I got 10th from, but he finished 5th. Your stage winners, Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, and Kyle Busch winning the race. Your notable finishers, 7th place, John Hunter Nemechek, who we talked about earlier.
Yes, we did at the Charlotte.
Saying that he needs to be in this Cup, this Xfinity ride more. 10th place, we had Ryan Truex, great run. And 12th place, another great run for Shane Lee. We've mentioned him a couple times now on here.
Yes, we have.
A couple good runs.
There he is.
Your standings now following Pocono. Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, Matt Tiff, Austin Cindric, Ryan Reed, and somehow, Ryan, Spencer Gallagher is your final playoff driver. And I told this to you last week.
Yep.
If he were to get cleared and come back, race his way into the playoffs, because I don't know if his win will count towards him making the playoffs, he could still be in the playoffs at the end of the year.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, that'd be a crazy story. But your next race for the Xfinity Series is Michigan this Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Ryan, you were not going to that one, right?
The Xfinity race negative. We are not. We are just going to the Cup race on Sunday.
How far is Michigan from you?
What did the map say?
How far is Michigan International Speedway from you? I know you're in Michigan.
Well, I'm in Michigan right now. I'd say about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes.
Oh, not terrible at all. How far is that?
Maybe. Sarah just whispered over here an hour. So depending on how fast I'm driving and traffic we run into.
How far is Michigan International?
Well, we're about 15 minutes from downtown Detroit.
Oh,
so
that's not terrible at all.
No, not at all. So
you could easily catch a NASCAR race and then head down to like well, not football because football's not going on around, but you could go see a night baseball game or something like that.
Well, traffic normally, the past couple of years actually has been really nice getting in and out of the Speedway. I know back in the day, traffic was terrible getting in and out of that place. Sometimes wouldn't get home till almost midnight.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But they have worked on the traffic getting in and out of there, and they've done a wonderful job. I don't know if anybody else agree with me or disagree with me on the traffic situation out at MIS.
Well, let's get into the Cup side of things now, Ryan.
Let's do it.
So last Sunday, I keep doing this, 2 weeks ago on Sunday,
Memorial Day weekend,
we had the greatest day in motorsports happen.
That we did.
And boy, 2 out of those 3 races really entertaining, and 1 wasn't.
I'm glad I missed the last one. We were at the dirt track Sunday night because we got rained out Saturday, but I recorded it and the recording stopped 35 laps left.
Well, you didn't miss much.
Nope.
The one race that really... See, maybe it was because, Ryan, the first 2 races, F1 in Monaco and IndyCar at the Indy 500, were so dramatic at the end of those races that maybe it took away to me from what the Coke 600 was. Because we had Daniel Ricciardo battle motor issues. No one knew if he was going to make it. He didn't even have 6th gear. Or was it 8th gear? I don't know what their gearboxes are. He didn't have... Yeah,
F1's got weird gearboxes, so...
I mean, he was pretty much stuck in either 5th or 6th gear the entire race. And he still wins that one. IndyCar, you had the leaders with 5 laps to go who stayed out come into the pits because they couldn't make it. Will Power takes the lead, powers his way to victory. Pun intended.
Well, yeah.
And then you had the absolute ass whooping Kyle Busch put on 39 other cars on Sunday night. He led
377.
He led 377 laps of 400. This is supposed to be the most grueling race on the schedule? And
The most competitive series in all of racing. It's supposed to be the most competitive series in racing, too, isn't it?
Wow.
I just, you know. And, sorry for the bald head there, guys. But, what did Danica Patrick do in the Indy 500?
Oh, you know, and I was waiting for you to bring this up.
Oh, I'm going to. There's a couple things I want to bring up about Indy real quick.
Let me put a forward in it.
Okay.
I wanted to see Danica do well in her final Indy race because that's where she made her name. That's where she was good. She was really good when she was there.
Yes, she was.
She didn't have the wins to prove it. She had one win. She didn't have as many wins as she should have had because there was a couple races where she raced where she had the best car out of everybody.
There was a race at Michigan that she was running really, really good, and something happened to it, and she got out of the car and started stomping her feet and walked away.
She could have won Indy, I think, either her first or second attempt at it.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
But karma's a you-know-what.
Yes, it is.
NASCAR's easier to drive.
Yeah, it came right back and bit her right you know where.
Must be really hard to wreck a car in the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500.
That must be.
You know,
must be some kind of wrecker, too.
When I saw that she was okay and all that, like, I had to make sure she was moving around first.
Oh, of course.
I laughed at it because I had to laugh at it. Because here's someone who 3-4 weeks ago was saying how NASCAR stock cars are so much easier to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your Daytona 500 ended the same way the Indy 500 did.
Exactly.
The Danica Double ended up on a tow hook.
Yes, it did. And so as we all know, Will Power did win the race. Congratulations to him. This past weekend, they had the NASCAR race, or the IndyCar race down in Belle Isle for the Duel in Detroit. They run 2 races Saturday and Sunday. But Friday's a free day, and Sarah and I decided to head down there. So we go down there, and we're walking through the paddock area. And I don't know if if you've ever been to an IndyCar race or near.
Never. They have one in St. Pete. I always say I'm going to go, but I never go.
Never do. They always ride these motor little mini bikes is what I like to call them. So Will Power's on one, and we're right by the Penske tent. He rides up in it. I say congratulations. A couple people are saying congratulations. Ignores everybody. Absolutely ignores everybody. Goes right into his team. Starts BSing with them, laughing and all that. Everybody's over there. Hey, Will, congratulations. Congratulations. This, that, and the other thing. Ignores everybody. I'm like, what a jerk. And this is why I like NASCAR so much more. The drivers are so much more down to earth with the fans, and he was just a jerk. And then I ran into Rossi drove by me on one of the scooters as well, and he went right up there, right up into his coach. But he came back out and signed a couple things for a guy that was waiting for a little bit. So,
I mean, it seems like IndyCar, it's kind of like NASCAR in a sense where you get your good and your bad, but
yeah,
mainly in NASCAR, I see pretty much 95% of the drivers will stick around and sign autographs for you. I can't speak for IndyCar because I've never been.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly surprised you didn't mention one thing that happened with the IndyCar this weekend.
Oh yeah, the Chevy.
The pace car?
No, Danica was not driving the pace car. It turned out to be the what was it? It was the GM.
It was GM executives.
Yeah, executives.
A pace car. So the GM owns.
Yep.
And you proceed to look like a dumbass in front of the world.
He wrecked that thing.
Right in the wall.
But they had him drive it again afterwards. I guess they had him do a couple test runs that Friday. Get familiarized with their track and everything. And he gunned that thing and boom! No safer barrier too, by the way, kids.
Well, let's get to the story at hand here, Ryan. Let's continue going through the Coke 600. So, Kyle Busch winning, leading 377 to 400 laps. He has swept every stage. I mean, when we're talking one of the better ass kickings of the season, this one's going to be up there, probably number one. And he has now won at every track on the schedule. The schedule. Except for the Roval, but, I mean, I don't count that yet.
I don't either.
Let's face it, he's won at every single place they've gone to.
Unfortunately, he's won out at Michigan when I've seen him win there. So
Kevin Harvick went out early in this one, Ryan.
Yeah, cut tire.
I mean, this is after he failed inspection 3 times in qualifying. I think it was an L1 penalty.
Yeah, L1.
So, is it Rodney Childers suspended or negative?
I don't think. I know he's suspended, or no, not suspended, but he's fined. Okay. Yeah, he's fined.
Austin Dillon was also out early, driving the Coca-Cola car.
Yeah, ironic.
I'm trying to do like a quick summary of this because there was like so much to go over in this race. Jimmy Johnson looked like a contender early until
Byron was out.
Denny Hamlin.
But
I thought the funniest thing of the weekend for 2 weekends ago, was the Radioactive that came out later on in the week. I don't know if you heard any of it.
I missed the Radioactive. I saw Poconos today, so.
So after the Johnson spin, Ives is on the radio, the 48 radio, saying that we're going to take a round of wedge out, this, that, and the other. And Chad Canals radios in and goes, "Hey, Greg Ives, you're on the 48 crew there, buddy." And he goes, well, sorry about that. Must have hit the wrong button. And then Chad responds with, "Quit spying on me."
Yeah, the 600, the Hendrick cars that were running actually showed a little bit of speed, a little bit of mojo, maybe getting back into their.
It seems like it's starting to come around a little bit because after Pocono, I'm really excited for what I've seen out of the Hendrick camp.
Yep.
So
keep it going this weekend.
Later on in Radioactive, Ryan, we had Bubba Wallace going 3 wide middle. And I'm just quoting here, so hopefully no one gets offended. He says, I might be afraid of spiders, but mama didn't raise no bitch going 3 wide middle." The icing on the cake, Ryan, is when a fan gets on the frequencies of the drivers and starts keying in to the drivers.
I did hear about the fan interaction.
Boy, I mean, NASCAR, the sport where you can even radio into the drivers mid-race.
Hey, if I'm Greg, if I'm on William Byron's spotter this weekend, to be like, "Hey, don't pit. Yeah, don't pit. Stop taking 2 tires.
First pit stop of the race takes 2 tires. What are we doing?"
Oh, I may go have a conniption fit if that happens. 2 tires. Yay! Woo, he's gonna lead. All right. Woo!
The funny thing is I don't always see a problem with what he does with Byron, with Darian Grubb with Byron. But hearing you respond every week to me in text message about him taking 2 tires on every pit stop, it's hilarious.
It's every single race. I get doing it during the All-Star race. Okay, I get that. At Pocono, it worked out for a minute, but not every race. Oh, we're gonna go to Darlington, notorious for eating up tires. We're gonna take 2 tires.
You know, Ryan, what it might be is I think Darian Grubb doesn't know how to flip the page in the notebook. He's kept it on Daytona all season, so it's been like 2 tires here, and then like 10 laps later, we'll take the other 2 tires.
Yep. He's got to learn how to turn the page.
Hey,
turn the page.
He's the next Danica, though.
No, he's not. Not one bit.
Oh man,
I know.
Go ahead.
I know you're trying to get me riled, but yeah, he's showing improvement. So
I'm gonna fire through these next couple lines here, Ryan.
go ahead.
Eric Jones had pit road problems. Martin Truex Jr. had late pit road problems that really stalled his run to the front because he was coming there at the end of that race. Byron struggled. Blaney got caught on fire. Which, that was a show right there.
What? Especially under the lights like that? Oh, man.
I don't, like, when he came to a stop, though, it looked like the fireball got bigger when he stopped.
Yeah, I remember going to a race a few years ago. Ryan Newman's car caught on fire. And where we were sitting at in the grandstands, you see a big smoke trail following around the track. And the crew chief at the time told him, hey, right here, there's a fire truck. Went right there, truck was out, car was out in a matter of moments. He was already out of the car.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great how quick the fire department and the track workers get to these drivers.
And I'm pretty sure Blaney was already window net down, seatbelts unbuckled by the time that car came to a rest.
Oh, yeah.
The tough thing is when they pull that fire extinguisher pin, it takes all the oxygen out of the car, so you want to get out of there as quick as you can.
Oh, hell yeah, you do.
Breathe. I mean, straight up, you just can't.
Unless you can hold your breath for like 45 minutes.
Which I know I can't do.
I know I can't do it either.
My question for you, though, Ryan, given who won the race, was it a good race, or do we need to bring in the aero package from the All-Star race to Charlotte?
Yes, you do.
Because I thought it was a bad race, not because of who won it.
No, there was no passing, nothing.
The product on the track was just,
Because I was watching NASCAR America, and I was going to bring this up later on in the show, but since you asked me now, Pete Pistonian was on, and they asked him, or he was asking people on his show on Sirius XM Channel 90, the NASCAR. I know you have it. I know you love it. They were asking if, with this weekend at Pocono and Charlotte, if they want that aero package again. There are so many people calling into his show saying, yes, we do. We want it. We want it. We want it. I am one of those people. We want it. We need it. We got to have it.
You know,
there's also...
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut in on you there.
No, that's fine. You're fine. There's also talks about the second time they come around to Pocono, Michigan, and Indianapolis to run the restrictor plate package. I would rather see it at another 1.5 miles than at Pocono or Michigan. Maybe Michigan because, the leader does tend to pull away a little bit, so try it at Michigan.
Look at Junior that one year when he came to pit road when he was driving the Batman car. Like, he came to pit road and then came out still like 3 seconds in the lead. It was crazy.
I was there. Mm-hmm.
So, good friend of the show, Mick Rose, GoDucks_Mick, he was saying that he brought up a good point. He doesn't like plate racing. He's not a fan of it. And he said he'd not like to see it continue to be on tracks, but he goes and says if it makes the product better and it gets people to watch it, then how can you not have a problem with it? I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said because I can't remember word for word what he said, but that was along the lines of what he said. And, I come from Florida, go to Daytona all the time. I love plate racing. Like, I can't get enough of it. I feel like if you go to Daytona, it changes your entire opinion on what racing is, what NASCAR is. I have a different opinion. I actually really enjoyed the rules package at Charlotte. I don't think we need it on every 1.5 mile track that's out there. But I think certain tracks, Michigan, Pocono, Indy, are tracks that it's needed.
I don't like, like you said, like Kyle Busch took off, and where was it? He was like, what, up 5-6 seconds almost? Because we were at the dirt track. No, I'm at the dirt track, and my Fox Sports Go app. Luckily, I had Wi-Fi connection at the dirt track. Good job, Merritt Speedway. And I'm watching it because they were doing some they're doing some track cleanup, watering down the track, better racing, which it turned out to be. And I'm like, Kyle's up and he's lapped half the field already. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, it's absolutely insane, man, because it sucks watching a race already knowing the outcome and there's still like 100 laps to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you don't need to watch it, but you're just watching it in case something entertaining happens somewhere in the back of the pack.
Oh, of course. Maybe a post-race fight.
Exactly. But to my advantage, there was a playoff basketball game on that I had been watching because my team was in it and unfortunately got defeated.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, your stage winners was Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch.
I want to take a stab at the last one. Eric Jones.
No, Derek Cope.
No, no way. Man, if Derek Cope would...
We're moving up a little bit here, Ryan. When I saw Derek Cope spin late in the race on Sunday, I was upset. I was like, damn, he's still in this thing. Usually Cope is like... because he drives the lower budget teams, and sometimes he's out early because, problems with the car, gets in the wall, blows a tire. But when he was still in there at, like, the 70th lap, like, no way.
Mm-hmm.
But your top five, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, great run for Hendrick, continued.
Yes, it was.
And our notable finishers, 9th place Alex Bowman, 11th place Chase Elliott. Hendrick seems they might have found the speed. Maybe. 16th place Bubba Wallace, great run for him. Only penalty after the race was to Martin Truex Jr., loose lugs. Thanks for supporting the show, Martin.
That's right. Supporting the podcast.
Ryan, but the last thing I want to touch on of the Coke 600, what was your take of the fan on the fence? Again.
Entertaining. Stupid.
What drives you to climb the fence?
A bet.
A lot of beer, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Pretty soon it's going to be like where you can't take a cooler into a track now because of these idiots.
What happens if he falls on the track? Like, it's just things that I think about. I mean, sober Ryan.
Now you see him, now you don't.
I mean, there's one of two things going to happen. He's going to smash his head on the concrete. He's going to smash his head on a windshield.
I'm going to go with the latter one.
I mean, if we're talking Bristol, yes.
Yeah.
But
imagine if it was at Daytona or Talladega with the packs.
Oh, dude, it's not funny at all. Like, I mean,
it wouldn't be pretty.
But it's the aftermath isn't funny of what happens, and you're only ruining it for other people.
I honestly think he was dared. Maybe he thought the race being there was actually boring because, like you said, it was, like we all said, dominating performance. Yeah, that's man. Imagine them uploaded on Facebook. Guys, take a look at my seats from the race.
I don't know if he does or not, but if there is any chance in the small world we live in that he listens to this podcast, we want your pictures. We want we want to see the pictures of what off your phone on the fence.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they were probably confiscated.
But it's very funny.
Yes, it was, and the fact that he got down quite easily too. Like there's only one or two security guards there.
Yeah, but it took 30 seconds to get to him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, around a racetrack, that's 2 laps.
Yes, it is.
I don't know, man. It's just crazy ass people. I mean, the dude at Richmond sat on the fence, like.
Yeah, I remember when he sat. He sat there. Was like, yep.
And then no one got to him for a good bit of time. Oh man, I don't know.
It's like I said, like we said. You remember? I think it was Jeff Gordon or somebody like. No, it was Jimmy Johnson or somebody that won at Talladega, where they were throwing the coolers on the ice. This was when they had the hard-sided coolers.
Jeff Gordon when he won at Talladega on a rain delay.
Oh yeah. They were throwing
that freaking race, and they never did.
Yeah, and they were throwing coolers on the track and hard-sided coolers, and then the very next year at Daytona, it's soft-sided coolers now in these tracks. There's no track that's allowed a hard-sided cooler in there.
Nope.
Pretty soon now, because of these idiots, now we're gonna have no coolers.
Well, luckily at Daytona, you can actually bring in. You can bring in the hard-sided coolers on wheels.
Really?
You can bring those. Yeah, that's awesome.
Michigan's strictly soft served.
Soft served.
Thinking
about ice cream, are you?
No ice cream.
Got me thinking about ice cream now.
Oh yeah. I got a drumstick in the fridge.
Let's move on to Pocono. So Martin Truex Jr., which will make Patrick happy. He's a big Martin Truex Jr. fan.
Yeah.
Pretty much not dominated this one. He was like the second best car because the best car belonged to Kevin Harvick all day. And I
of course.
He made a great choice because that was who I wanted to go with for my predictions for the Cup race.
How about my dark horse running into another Hendrick car this weekend?
You know, the funny thing about that, Ryan, was on my way home, because I had to listen to the first stage through Sirius Channel 90.
Didn't miss much.
The funny thing is, like, I heard Hamlin's name called. I'm like, damn it. Why didn't I pick Hamlin? He's always so good at Pocono.
He hasn't been good since the repave. They did a little stat on Fox, and it's like he hasn't won since they've repaved that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really crazy to think about. A man who always dominated that race. But Kevin Harvick, like I said, dominated early, just struggled late, couldn't get that car to handle right in the final restart, and he just completely lost it.
And there was one of the last pit stops, he got caught in by Blaney, and then they came down pit road again where him and Truex stayed out, and that's just a decision right there. Wait, you live or die by it.
The weird thing was, Ryan, the inside lane couldn't restart, but it was only like it was from the second row back.
Yep.
If you were the lead car on the inside line, you were fine, but you weren't fine because the second row wasn't getting a jump, therefore no one's pushing you past. You kind of got hung out to dry there.
That you did.
And I don't know if it was because most of the time it was Harvick or Truex starting on the low side because they ran 1-2, it seemed like, all day long.
That they did.
And I knew when I saw Truex coming, I think it was towards the end of the first stage where I had to pull up the leaderboard because I wasn't listening. I saw Harvick leading, Truex 4 seconds behind, and then like Kyle Busch 9 seconds behind.
Yep.
I was like, 10 laps, Truex is going to be in the lead. And sure enough, when I got into my truck and turned on the radio, Truex was in the lead. So.
And he won stage one. Yep.
So Bubba Wallace does his best impression of Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. this weekend.
Missing the shift.
Yeah, missed the shift. Threw it from, what was it, third to second?
Yep. Richard Petty on Twitter, this is pretty funny, that said they're going to give Bubba an automatic next weekend. I think it's funny as hell if they do that, but yeah, obviously you can't do that. I think it's Richard Petty just enjoying himself with Bubba Wallace. The revenue they're getting with Bubba, you know, I guess his merch is one of the highest merch right now, besides Chase.
Ryan, how can you not love that team, man?
Oh, I love that team.
Hey, Bubba's driving, Richard Petty, the owner. Like, it's just, it's awesome. Like,
I would love to see that team get in victory lane.
Once Bubba, I think, gets his first season under his belt, his first full season, I really think he can contend.
Oh, I do too.
He showed promise. He led laps this weekend.
That he did.
It was pit road changing and all that. But he still led. He leads.
Speaking of leading laps, this is how you know Hendrick's back. Jimmy Johnson leads his first laps of the year.
Isn't it crazy to think that we're at Pocono first week of June,
Yep.
and it took him this long to lead his first lap? DW said it best, and I know some people are saying this is waking the sleeping giant.
I think it is.
Jimmy Johnson is not done. Dominating done, yes, but he's not done.
Not one bit. I think he's got one, maybe two more championships in him. Maybe two.
I'd say one. I'd say if he wins championship number 8, he's done. He'll retire on the spot.
I wouldn't go that far now.
I really think that Jimmy's towards the end of his career. I mean, he's one of the oldest guys currently driving, and there's so many young guys coming up that, you know, they can bring in money and they can bring in wins. They're good drivers. Not as good as Jimmy. But
So who's the next guy up then if Jimmy retires? Do they go out and sign maybe a Landon Castle, Tyler Reddick?
I was going to say Tyler Reddick would be a good fit. I kind of feel that Junior's going to bring his team up into the Cup Series here in the next couple of years.
I'm excited.
And it'd be nice to see if they can compete, have a 5th competitive team in the field every weekend, and especially one that's a Chevy, because of the Chevy ties, you know it's going to be a Chevy.
Of course it is.
But regardless, one car didn't finish this race due to collision. It was Denny Hamlin during his contact with Alex Bowman. And Ryan, I thought this was probably the funniest moment of the weekend. If you watch the slow-mo replay of Denny Hamlin wrecking, you see a probably intoxicated man on top of a 1999 an hour U-Haul van celebrating like his driver just won the race when he saw Hamlin spinning in front of him.
There's nothing. Hey, you know what? There's nothing to say when you rent a U-Haul. Doesn't say where you can go with it. If you want to go rent a U-Haul and go into the infield, by God, go rent that U-Haul. Go in the infield of a race and enjoy yourself.
You know what, man? That guy had a weekend to remember.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Damn, believe it.
I'm sure he did.
It was just cool to see, man. It's fun seeing other people having a blast, having a great time with everything.
Oh, of course.
So it was.
We'll be seeing that. We'll be seeing that this weekend out at the Speedway.
Oh hell yeah! So Truex battles back from pit road issues again, and it seems like Truex has had these pit road problems all season long, and it's really not like the 78 team to have that.
No, it's not. Whether it be from the jack, like the guy, I don't know if the jack wasn't up all the way, or if they just having problems getting the tire off it. Something about that team this year.
It's crazy. It's strange. Larson had a great car this weekend.
Yes, he did.
It's good to see Chevy's running strong again.
Yes, almost had him on that last restart. And there is something right now, I'm going to get into my rant right here, that really is kind of, it got under my skin a little bit during the broadcast. It was even before the broadcast. Gordon, DW, Chris Myers are in the Hollywood Hotel. And they're like, well, besides Harvick, Busch, Truex, those three are going to be locked into the Final Four anyway at Homestead. Who do you want to see out there? And it's like you're trying to determine that already the first weekend in June, that no matter what, those three guys you just mentioned are going to be the Final Four at Homestead. Yes, it's a strong possibility that those three could be there. I don't think all three of them are going to be there. I think one of them is going to have something bad. Yeah, choke. Yeah, to better terms. But for them to say that, and especially Jeff Gordon during the broadcast, like Kyle was catching Harvick. Well, this is the battle I wanted to see all day. This is the battle I wanted to see all day. It's like there's 38, 39 other cars out on this track, and you want to focus on these three right now, and it's not even playoffs. It's just, who knows? Kyle Busch could go on an Austin Dillon funk right now.
Yeah.
Or Truex could, especially with all these pit road penalties. Could be several infractions. Crew members get suspended. Crew chief suspended.
You know, not to avoid what you were talking about in your rant, but there was a moment in the media center after the race where Kyle Busch was curious as to why NASCAR threw out a caution for what looked like a shoe booty on the track.
A shoe booty.
Kyle Larson comes in and they were talking about it, and Kyle goes, "Man, you need to get your eyes checked," talking to Kyle Busch. And he goes, "What are you talking about? There's a booty on the track." Larson goes, "That was a huge piece of sheet metal on the track that hit my windshield."
Yeah, I remember that too, seeing that. Because it smacked right off his windshield, and then there was a couple other cars that it hit, and then that's when they're like, "Yep, we're throwing the caution out." It wasn't a hat. It was not a hat.
It wasn't a shoe booty.
A shoe booty.
And that was another thing. Who would be in the car taking it off and then throwing it out the window? Like, is that even possible with the way you're strapped in? And
I don't think so, Tim.
Thanks, Al.
You're welcome. Home improvement reference. But no, like, Jeff Gordon back in the day accused people of throwing stuff out their car anyway.
The foam, water bottles.
Yep. All that stuff.
I don't see them getting to a shoe booty.
I don't either. Unless they already have one strapped in the car somewhere, like,
no idea.
if we need a caution, I shoot.
I don't know. How about Matt Kenseth this weekend? Was as low as 30th at one point. Came
Yeah.
to finish 13th. With Trevor Bain.
They're making. I don't know. They're making strides with that car, so we'll see what happens this weekend. I remember going. Roush used to have. That used to be his playground. MIS. Edwards, Biffle, Martin, Burton.
Well, I can't
Kenseth.
pencil you in for what you're picking for white flags. Let me just go down here and write.
No, I don't think so.
But like you said, they dominated these races back in the day, and it's Ford's playground. It's Ford's backyard.
Chevys too.
And going back to my Trevor Bain comment, no, I'm just messing around with the whole Trevor Bain thing.
Oh yeah.
It's Matt Kenseth, a Cup champion, multi-race winner, versus Trevor Bain, Daytona 500. The experience that Kenseth has is miles ahead of Trevor Bain. Anyway.
Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine. Another slow race. Change in arrow?
It was.
For next year? Or maybe this race
Oh,
in
yeah.
a couple weeks?
I think so.
Do they bring the All-Star package?
Yep. I think they do.
I think they do too. I think Steve O'Donnell is really wanting to push this package on a couple of these tracks where we're seeing a fall off in ratings and attendance. I really do think that here in like 3 or 4 weeks we'll see that package added. Now it brings me to another question: is Pocono a boring track? And I only ask this because it feels like we're at that stretch of the season, besides Michigan, where we're in these races that kind of go really slow going by. The laps don't tick down as quickly as it normally seems. Is Pocono a boring track, or is it just the fact that we have to go to the same track twice in a month span for the most part? Pretty much, it's a month span.
Yeah, it's like right at a month, I do believe. They're back in August.
Does that play
late July, early August? I think it does. I really do. I think it does play a part. I don't think they're going to get rid of a Pocono race. Even I mean, at least I hope they don't. I do like watching it. That's up to NASCAR right there if they want to get rid of one of those races. They may do it. They may not. I don't know.
Like, we're in a stretch of races right now where it would be awesome to have a short track thrown in.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, this is... Even if you didn't want to throw a short track, maybe move Texas to this point in the year. Something a little different, you know?
Yeah, because you got 1.5 miles at Charlotte, which is a fast track. Pocono's fast. MIS is fast. And then they have the week off for Father's Day, which is interesting. And then they got the Sonoma are out at the Sears Point.
Sonoma, you were right the first time.
I still call it Sears Point.
I know.
I enjoy calling it Sears Point. That's old school. Then it changes up. Then you go to Chicagoland now, and then Daytona.
Yeah.
See, that 3-race stretch right there is pretty good.
It's not a bad stretch. It's like we're just at that point where it's like, all right, we just got to get through these weeks. We just got to get through these weeks, and then it's smooth sailing the rest of the year. Like this summer stretch, it's like when they throw the lesser, and I don't even want to say lesser exciting because I think a good portion of these races are exciting.
Oh, of course.
But we're at like the tracks where it's like, you know what's going to happen with 100 to go. We're at that stretch, and it runs up to Chicago, like you said. You know, because then it goes Chicago, Daytona,
New Hampshire
in there.
Yep.
I think you go to Watkins Glen.
Then back to Pocono, then Michigan again, and then
it picks back up again. But we're just in that rough patch.
I'm laughing. I am laughing so hard at why they now have Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard 400, the last race to get into the chase.
There's a but to this.
Okay, let's hear your but first.
What if they bring the new rules package to Indy this year?
I'd be fine with it.
It'd make it entertaining.
But, like I said, they're trying to make the Brickyard 400 the second biggest race of the year, other than the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I think you're never going to see an Indy 500 crowd at a Brickyard 400. It's just never going to happen.
Not again.
You know,
you did
times, yes, but that track is.
It's not suited for a cup car.
No, I don't think so either.
I love watching it.
You don't have much passing room in the corners.
No.
You only have such a little amount of straightaway to actually get something done in the turns.
Mm-hmm. And I love watching the Indy 500.
Same here.
But you remember the year at the Brickyard, they kept throwing the cautions because the tires were so bad? It was like every 15 or 16 laps they'd throw a caution. Luckily, we didn't have cable, or my dad's like, I had to turn that damn thing off.
Oh, man.
Ever since that race, the attendance started going down there.
It was when the tire was a problem. When that was Tony Stewart kept complaining about it.
Yep.
And then it's been fine ever since.
Oh, yeah.
But moving on, Ryan, we only got a few more points to hit here in the longest gas and go I think we've ever had.
Yeah, it's been about an hour.
Eric Almirola finished 7th. Danica's old ride.
Yeah.
Man, he's got to be up there in conversation for like comeback of the year.
He's also in conversation for a win soon.
I'd agree with you there. I think Daytona would be his best shot, but your stage winners. First stage, Mark Truex Jr. Second stage, Kevin Harvick. And your eventual race winner was Mark Truex Jr. Your top 5, Mark Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Brad Keselowski. Your notable finishers, 8th place, Jimmy Johnson. 12th place, Austin Dillon. And I threw 24th place Daniel Suarez in here because he had been on such a hot streak. And now it's like stall. Like face plant right into a brick wall.
Kind of like a Chevy Corvette pace car at Belle Isle.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's a great way to explain it.
Oh, yeah.
Your standings following Pocono: Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Mark Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney. I almost said Dave Blaney for some reason. Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Alex Bowman round out your top 16. Your next race is Michigan this Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern on Fox, unless you're Ryan, who will be in the stands.
We are probably leaving the house anywhere between 6:30 and 7 o'clock to get on out there, tailgate, get to the trailers.
Beautiful.
Oh no, I can't wait.
Just a quick recover of it. The Truck Series next race is Friday between 9 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern at Texas.
I say let's do 8:30 or 9:30.
Yeah, It's sometime like really late where you wouldn't expect the truck race to be on at.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, we got some news to cover. Not much, but we do have some news to cover. Let's get into Tire Rub.
All right.
Left side. Coldest left rear fender out, left side.
All right, the 2019 NASCAR Hall of Fame inductees were announced, and they are Jeff Gordon, Jack Roush, Roger Penske, Davey Allison, and Alan Kulwicki. Did they get it right? I say yes.
I do too.
I think you could have put in Bud Baker in there, but who would you have taken out for him? You know?
Nobody. Davey should have been in a long time ago.
Agreed.
Davey should have been in one of the first ones. I think Alan Kulwicki should have been in the second or third one.
I don't know if anyone really knows this, but I think a lot about old school races and watch a lot of highlights of old school races. And every time I watch, the one driver I wish I had the chance to see race was Davey Allison. I mean,
Unfortunately. Go ahead.
Jeff Gordon before Jeff Gordon, in a sense. It's the kid. It's the kid's turn.
Oh yeah, he was so good. I'm mad I never got to see him in person, but damn was he good.
And the worst part, I mean, the whole thing was tragic on how he came to the demise.
Yes,
but it was like he's so early in his career.
Yep.
Can you imagine if he had some of these runs like Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt up until he passed away?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like he was following in those footsteps, in the same footsteps that his father laid out for him.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was one of the hardest losses I think in the sport, along with Alan Kulwicki, and it's so fitting that they go in together.
Yeah. And I think that's where they got it right. They put them both in together. They both battled on the track together. Kulwicki, the underfunded team, you know, it was his own race shop. It was just so cool to see him, especially when he won the championship, the Polish victory lap. Oh, I forgot where victory lane was.
Hey Ryan.
Hey yo.
Who finished second to Alan Kulwicki in the 1992 championship standings?
Thought it was Senior or Martin.
It was Senior.
I remember. It was Senior, so I thought.
I looked it up. You already explained this one earlier, so I'm just going to reiterate it. IMS is in talks with NASCAR to bring the All-Star package to Indy. Probably won't take effect until 2019 is what their track officials are saying. But after what Steve O'Donnell said, I think you might be able to see that this year.
Yeah.
This one to me was the more interesting one of the news stories. Toyota plans to run the Supra in the Xfinity Series in 2019. So now we're going away from the four-door sedans. We are now a sports car, stock car racing. Like it's sports car racing.
Something about that. The Supra.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever seen the Fast and Furious movies, you know what a Supra looks
like. My friend's stepdad used to own a Supra.
A curiosity,
decent.
Ryan.
What's that?
You have to sit on the right side of the car?
No. They may have to sit on the right side of the car. Wouldn't surprise me.
The 2018 postseason awards are staying in Las Vegas. I know some teams and drivers weren't happy about that just because they'd rather be closer to home on something like that.
Well, you know, Brian France, he's going to hand the trophy off and run right out the back door again.
I think he had to use the bathroom.
Hey, something like that. Here, Martin, here's your trophy. See ya.
Coming up today, you've already said the Steve O'Donnell conversation with the All-Star package.
And by the way, don't tell me Steve O'Donnell doesn't check Twitter or social media.
He says what the fans are thinking. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
He is, if you don't follow him on Twitter, he is very vocal and...
Yes, he is.
He's open to talk to any fan that shoots him a tweet, has a question about something. He is right there. Steve O'Donnell, if you're not following him yet, you got to get on that because There's some things that I didn't know that he answers on a weekly basis. It's just, he runs a really good social media account.
And I'm guaranteed he looks at that and is like, okay, we got to do something here.
It's the only way you can see what the fans are really thinking and saying, you know?
Unless they're at the track saying it.
Exactly. We got a couple driver news for the week. Garrett Smithley making his Cup debut this weekend. Debut this weekend. The number 99 Starcom Chevrolet.
Yeah. Man, Derek Cope's not in the car this weekend.
That's what I said.
Damn.
He was my odds-on favorite.
Former Daytona 500 champion.
And Jeffrey Earnhardt hopes and expects to return in the premium motorsports machine that he was in this past weekend.
Oh, nice.
That does it with news this week.
That'll make Sarah happy if Jeffrey's in the car this weekend.
I don't know what to say to that.
No, she likes Jeffrey Earnhardt. I think she may think he's cute or
Hey,
something.
how about you put him in Jimmy Johnson's ride?
I would be all right with that.
That'd be something different.
Would you be happy if Jeffrey Earnhardt was in the 48 when Jimmy Johnson retired? She said yes, I think. I have my headphones on.
So, Brian.
Yep.
We got some social media to go through. We got your rant, then we can wrap it up on this super long edition of the Loose Lugs podcast. Let's get into some social media update.
All right.
We are up to 543 downloads on iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. 208 followers on Twitter, 58 likes on Facebook, 19 subscribers on YouTube. Some new follower shout-outs this week, and we had a pretty big influx of followers in the last 2 weeks that I'm now having to space out when I do it. The coolest thing I saw today, Ryan, was we got a follow back from Rick Mast.
Oh, man.
And if you don't follow Rick Mast or you don't listen to the Mast cast, what are you doing? Because I love hearing the old stories of what happened, and I love having and hearing Rick Mast's point of view and his son hosting the show. They both do a great job.
Yes, they do.
It is one of my top 5 favorite podcasts out.
Rick Mast is definitely one of them good old boys, man. You just was always there, man. And just such a nice guy. You sent me the message at work, and I went to show. Thor, calm down. Sorry, the dog's going crazy now, guys. But I went to go show Sarah at work, and she was like, "Dad," her dad loved Earnhardt, and he'd remember who Rick Mast was and all that. It's pretty cool stuff, man. I know I was excited.
It was very cool to see.
And they definitely do have a very good podcast.
It is an awesome podcast. If you haven't heard it, go check it out as soon as you can, because it's one you don't want to miss every week. It's always very good. All right, continuing on with our shout-outs, Ryan. We have Bobby Orr Motorsports at Orr Bobby. We have at Stroker Ace Kid. We have NASCAR Legends at Legends NASCAR. We have Chloe Yunker from Yunker Motorsports at Chloe Yunker. We have at Ginger Baker Russ. We have Dustin Ryan Black at Dustin Black 85. And we have Dega Mama at Pixie Poodle. Our podcast shoutouts this week, and there is a new one from our friends across the pond, the My Opinion Therefore Fact podcast. It's now a separate podcast they're doing at MOATF Esports, and it's for racing, and it's from both the guys over at MOATF. So go make sure you check out their podcast and their new one.
Definitely will have to do that.
And we have our usuals. We have the Lap Traffic podcast, the PTM podcast, the All Turns No Brakes podcast, the Bump and Run podcast, Right Sides Only Radio, the Motor Mouse and Creditcast, NASCAR Opinion, the Final Lap Weekly, and the EG3 show. Make sure you check them all out this week. New content every week from them. All to get your NASCAR fix in. Some places you can find us: iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and YouTube. Make sure you hit the notification and the subscribe button, so this way you are always alerted whenever we come to your favorite podcasting platforms, and when we go live every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Loose Lugs podcast is what you're going to search in. On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. You can tweet about the show with us using the hashtag LugsPod. On Facebook, search bar the Loose Lugs Podcast. We are the only Loose Lugs Podcast on Facebook. Our personals, myself on Twitter, Grey Goose F150, and Ryan.
Rancola 88.
Ryan, we are at a point in the show where we go through your rant. You said a rant earlier. Do you have another rant?
It's not really a rant. Just definitely looking forward to the weekend. I know I've already mentioned it, man. Every June and August, just always gets excited to get out there. We have a traditional stop we do at a McDonald's, right up, close to the track, I should say. And it's going to be a great weekend. The soon-to-be wife's going to be out there with me. We do have a wedding date set. We have a party date set. I think we're probably just going to do a courthouse now. Have our party. My mom found a place that we can rent out. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Like I said, guys, it's going to be a great weekend for me out at the Irish Hills, Michigan International Speedway. If anybody's coming out there, heading out to the race, shoot me up on Twitter, the podcast page on Twitter, anything. Just let us know. Let us know where you're sitting.
That reminds me, just letting everybody know, Ryan is taking over the Twitter this weekend, our Twitter handle. He's going to be tweeting live from the track, pictures, all that, letting you know where he is. If you want to go up and say hi to him, just hit him up on there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome to see.
And if you guys do meet up with me, so
I thought you just went out right there for a second. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I just said if anybody does meet up with me out there this weekend at the track, I will have a beverage in hand.
And he also accepts free beverages.
That I do, yes.
He might even hand you a free beverage.
That I will.
Ryan for his autograph, he'll buy you a beer.
Hey, whoa. Do something, maybe. But no, guys, like I said, man, it's going to be a great weekend. Hopefully I don't have much to rant about this weekend during next week's show. Just to tell you how awesome of a race it's going to be. So,
what do you say? What do you say we get a flag, Ryan?
Let's go.
Alrighty.
Tight, keep working the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only two.
So all three series are in action this weekend, Ryan.
All right.
Off, we have the truck series. I'm doing my predictions, I think, a little bit differently for the coming weeks. Someone had pointed out on Twitter to us that our picks seem to be the favorites every week.
Oh, go outside the box.
So I'm going to start going a little bit outside the box with my picks every week. Ryan,
okay.
Go ahead and tell me your truck pick, and then I'll tell you mine.
Let's go with Matt Crafton.
I'm going to go with Stuart Friesen.
Good choice.
In the Xfinity, Ryan.
At Michigan International Speedway, let's go Cole Custer.
I'm kind of stuck on the Xfinity one. I'm trying to think in my head who I can see winning this. Like, I don't want to take a favorite.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I also do want to take a favorite.
I gotcha.
So you know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to take the one of Elliott Sadler.
Okay.
For the Cup side, Ryan, who are you going with and who is your sleeper?
Well, the thing is, we all know that Kyle Larson is going for 4 wins in a row. AJ, who was the last driver to win 4 in a row at Michigan International Speedway?
Hell, I don't know.
Look at what hat are you wearing?
The Napa hat.
And who drives that car?
Chase Elliott. Oh,
who is it?
From Dawsonville.
There you go. The question now is, will Kyle Larson do it? I don't think he is. That's why I'm going with the hometown kid, Brad Keselowski, to take the checkers at Michigan. My dark horse none other than the 24 of William Byron. Just because I'm going out there, I'm picking my drivers.
I'm going to make this quick and easy then, right here.
Okay.
I will start with my sleeper. My sleeper is a 9-car Chase Elliott. Every time he's come to Michigan in the last 3 years, he's always had a car that's been capable of winning this race.
Yep.
He's my sleeper. My winner, Kyle Larson. Can you really go against the potential of him winning 4 in a row at a track he's dominated, and he's won every race at Michigan that Ryan has gone to in the last 4 years?
I missed the first one he did, but I missed his first one out there. I did see the last year, and here's my thing right now. With the Chevy Camaro, with the way it is right now, it's the only reason why I'm not picking him. Yeah, you've seen it a little bit last week at Pocono. It's graduating for sure. I hope he does. That'd be cool to see history, or to tie history, I should say.
Well, I think what you're going to see at Michigan is it's going to come down to a restart with 5 laps to go.
As it always does.
It seems to always do. And whoever restarts on the highest side, second row, is going to be the winner of this race. He's going to take it 3 wide into 1, come out.
Like he did last. Mm-hmm. Now, here's I don't like the stage setup here. 60-60. It's 60, 60, and 80 laps.
Huh.
Yeah. I'd rather do 2 50s and then the last stage would be 100.
I mean, those 60s are really realistically going to go by quick because it's a pretty quick racetrack.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So.
Still one of the fastest on circuit right now.
That's true.
They're still averaging 200, 209, 210 going into turn 1.
I think we're going to get one wreck this weekend that kind of takes us back a little bit and says, ooh, ow.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, that's...
Pit stops. It's another thing is green flag pit stops are going to be key because we always have a long green flag run. I know with the stages it breaks that up, but Michigan is famous to have like that right in the middle long green flag run.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like we'll be in the stands. Like I know in the past few years, like I'm like doing the flag gesture. Come on, we need a damn caution. Let's bunch these guys back up. Hopefully we get it this weekend. I'm expecting going to be an awesome time no matter what happens, as long as the Toyota don't win. And if Toyota does win, if it is Truex, that'd be cool.
That it would. That it would. Well, Ryan,
but if a driver does enter the stands, I will try to get as close as I can. So
you can ask him for an autograph.
No, try to be on TV.
Well, that too.
Mm-hmm. So we are definitely recording it too. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're gonna post with the same thing we did last time. I'll post videos that you post up to the YouTube page and.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Take over the Twitter handle this weekend. It's gonna be a pretty fun time. It looks like.
Oh, I cannot wait. The wife's ready. I'm ready.
But Ryan, we have hit the point in our show, our longest show ever.
It is.
Where we have you sign off.
Guys, I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. And it's true, I will see you at the track. AKA, we will.
I hope everyone has a fun race weekend. If you're out at Michigan, make sure you say hello to Ryan. Shoot us a message on Twitter to find out where he's at so you can go talk to him. Special thanks to everyone who's tuned in tonight, who chatted with us. Tony, Patrick, thank you all for coming by every week. And with that being said, like Ryan said, see you at the track.
There's nothing to fear along the way. There's nothing I could say, nothing I could say.